Making perfume isn't just about putting together a few fragrances. It's about shaping an abstract idea into a story, which takes a lot of patience to get the composition right. In this segment, Hindustan Times' Vinod Nair chats with Thierry Wasser, the eminent perfumer from the House of Guerlain. Wasser talks about how incidents from one's life can inspire memorable perfumes.
Do you like to say how a perfume is made once you gather all the raw material?
Well, gathering the raw material, I have a list in the factory of 750 different raw materials, which serves the manufacturing of Haute Cologne Impériale from 1853 up to Little Black Dress of last year. It means that with this stock of raw material, I can create all the fragrance we do sell. With this list of ingredients in mind, my opportunities to create are endless. And if I need another material which is new or unknown from us, I'll buy it. Mm-hmm. You create a fragrance after an emotion. Fragrance is not a thing, it's a story. I'm telling stories. And either your emotion are triggered by an encounter, meaning somebody is inspiring you, or a trip, or a piece of music, whatever it is. You start writing a formula. And this formula is compounded in the lab, and suddenly you get a little bottle like this, you smell, and you say, shh, it's not what I had in mind. And from the moment you write something, and you have the idea, and those two are getting perfectly together, it takes a year. To make a successful fragrance, or a successful fragrance, is a fragrance which is your initial dream. You dream it before, and after you make it, or you try to make it. So, explaining what I do is rather difficult because it is always a piece of my mind. There are no rules. The fun part of my industry is that there are no rules. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong.
I'll ask you one more question, Thierry. Of some of the leading brands that you work with, like Calvin Klein, Dolce & Gabbana, Giorgio Armani, and Diesel, Christian Dior, what struck me most is the way Calvin Klein names his fragrances.
Yeah. Actually, and that's back to your theme of luxury and brand image, I think. Calvin Klein did fragrances when he was involved in the design of them after his own life experiences, and that's very noticeable. He created his first fragrance, men's and women's, under the same umbrella name, Obsession. That was the time where Calvin Klein himself was partying all night at Club Studio 54 and doing God knows what, Obsession. Few years later, he got married and created Eternity. Little later, that marriage was not very successful. He divorced, and here comes Escape. It's true. And when his daughter turned 18, she was hanging out with kids her age in jeans and white open shirts, and the gender were blurry. He created CK1 as a unisex fragrance. And after, I guess, he was less involved, and I don't think my demonstration will continue, but at least at the beginning, for a good decade, it's very funny to see how his life influences his production. And since I worked for him, creating or co-creating CK1 and Truth, which followed unsuccessfully, I knew the process pretty well.
That's interesting. Questions now?
My question to you is, how does one become a nose? Is it something you're born with? Is it genetic, or can you be trained?
I don't think you are born with that instrument. We all are, and we all have the ability to smell. The only thing is that this sense has been lost since we don't use it for survival anymore. You don't have to smell the danger. You listen to it or you look at it, but you don't use your nose as our ancestors had to. But you still have very reptilian reflexes. When you have a plate coming and the food looks suspicious, everyone here has the reflex to smell it, to see if it's good or not. So we do smell. No, I mean you acquire the sense of smelling by being curious about it. That was all the program of the perfumery school. I had to put in my noodle 3,000 different smells and be able to use them and recognize them. Today when I go to Bulgaria to buy rose, I buy so much rose that one producer is not enough. I have to do blends in order to have a bulk of rose for the year. All those different scents and what I look is so precise in my mind that I smell and say yes or no for my blend. So you're acquiring a taste or an ability to smell. Everyone here can do what I do. After, you have to have a great memory, yes, and you have to be able to build a shape in an abstract form, which is fragrance. And that's a particular set of mind, but otherwise everybody can smell.
And that's all we have for you today in this Mint Special. Be sure to join us next week for more from Mint's Luxury Conference. Thanks for watching.